everyone, welcome back to another video. Today is a very positive video. I am going to be sharing with you how to get through a layoff, how to get through basically the whole situation and everything that follows if you're laid off from your job. And I know right now with everything that's going on in the world, a lot of people unfortunately are being laid off or furloughed. And so I know when I was personally laid off about a month ago, it was a very scary time, and it was my first time being laid off and I just didn't know what to do. And for reference, I live here in New York City, and I've worked in the city for about 4 years now, 5 years. And I live in Brooklyn, so I commute back and forth, and I've been working in marketing and mainly for fashion retail companies, but I've done client side and in-house as well. So if you aren't familiar and this is your first time here, my name is Taylor and I make videos on fashion, beauty, lifestyle, and a lot of videos related to work and working 9-to-5 jobs in New York City. And sadly, as I mentioned, 4 weeks ago I was laid off from my job, and I'll leave a link up above to that video where basically it was the day that I got laid off, and I was devastated and very shocked and confused and didn't know what to do. But fortunately, in these last 4 weeks I have learned a lot, and I am happy to share that I was actually offered a job and I have accepted. The start date isn't for a couple of weeks, so I really don't want to jinx it. But I am proud of myself for getting through this time, and also I do consider myself very, very fortunate and lucky, and definitely the exception and not the rule right now for finding jobs, just given the virus and everything that's happening, making things slow down and making things harder. So I'm going to share with you exactly how that I did that, so that if you're someone who was laid off or has recently been laid off with everything happening, you can find some inspiration and get some ideas and tips for how to get through this and how to get yourself a job. So let's get started. Sorry, it's taking me back to the first day that all of this happened, just trying to think through all the steps. All right. So the very first thing is to get your coworkers' personal info. So if you're laid off in a situation where either if it's just you or if it's hundreds of people, for me it was about 90% of my team. So there were still a small select few of people that did stay, mainly leadership and that sort of thing. But you don't realize when you're working at your company that mainly on a day-to-day basis, you're connecting with your coworkers via their work email, and your work email is going to get shut off. And the coworkers, at least that are staying, want so badly to help you, and if you ask them for their personal contact information, they'll be like, yes, of course, take my email, take my phone number. And so write down or put it in your phone your coworkers' personal information, because they can help you find jobs, they can help connect you with people, they can help you in a lot of ways. So say if you forget the HR person's email address, because you will need to be connecting with HR a little bit after you're laid off, they can give that to you. There's just a lot of reasons why you should still stay in contact with your old coworkers. So first thing before you leave that day, because if they're this is your last day, pack your stuff and get out, get your coworkers' information. It will really, really help you and save you. Also, get the information of the other people that you're being laid off with, because you guys will become a support group for each other and you will be bonded in a way that you were not before, and you guys will help each other get through it and give each other tips and share contacts and information, and just be each other's go-to when you're hey, are you filing for unemployment? How did you do this and that and everything? And so it's really helpful to just get everyone's contact information, the people that are in the same boat as you, and then also the people who are not and just want to help you. Step 2, and this is a fun one, is that if everyone who was laid off is going to a bar, go with them. I don't love drinking that much. I'm not like a party girl or person at all. And when I was laid off, then the first thing I wanted to do was to just go straight home and cry and carry my boxes and make my YouTube video and cry it out. But trust me, it will be so helpful and so much more uplifting if you go to the bar with everyone that's going. Go to a dive bar. You do not need to go to like a fancy expensive cocktail bar. We went to a dive bar down the street that had like $5 drinks. The bartender felt really bad for us and bought us all like a couple of rounds of shots, I mean, and we all just bonded together and we're like, oh yeah, you know, this really sucks. And it was just a whole thing. I understand now that if you're laid off because of the virus, just given that everything is closed, you won't be able to do that. But definitely, like I said, keep in contact with the people that you were laid off with, or that you or that still might be at your company, because it's definitely a community that will form. And going to a bar and connecting with everyone else will really just make you feel less alone in the situation, and I cannot explain how much that helps. The next step is, if you are losing your benefits, act quickly. In my situation, our health care was only covered for 1 day. So everyone had 1 day to get their doctor's appointments in, get their prescriptions, their dental, vision, whatever it was. We literally had 1 day to get those. And after that 1 day, like we were laid off on a Thursday, we had the rest of the day Thursday and then Friday to get all of that done. I mean, it depends on your package, obviously, but check into that, ask HR if you weren't sure, and just make sure that you get everything squared away right away. Because for me, I didn't realize that we only had 1 day. I thought that we had a month. The month is actually Cobra. Cobra's $500 a month, and I was not about to do that. So yeah, that was one thing that I regret, and one thing that you should definitely think about right away is, okay, when does my coverage end? And let me get all the things that I need now. The next step is to take some time for yourself before you go crazy jumping on the computer, applying to jobs, contacting people, etc. Just take a second to breathe. Do your nails if you like doing your nails. Order pizza. Watch a movie. Don't feel like you need to like jump on this quickly, because odds are, I mean, especially if you've never been laid off before, you're gonna be in this state of like kind of panic, and you need to know that it's okay to give yourself a day. I gave myself the whole weekend, the whole first weekend, to just take some deep breaths, call my family, call my friends, and just process everything. And it is weird at first, because you're gonna be like, okay, you know, you wake up Monday through Friday, you're not going to work, it's a totally different routine, and you're kind of like, what is this? So just know that it's okay to take time for yourself. It's okay to you know, just do those little things that make you happy. The next step is to get organized and really think about what you want to do. Some people that I was laid off with said, you know what, this is a great opportunity for me to do some more charitable work instead of working for a retail company where, you know, we're just promoting people buying clothes, which, I mean, doesn't add as much value to the world as we would like it to work instead for a nonprofit, or to you know, work for a political figure, you know, helping them with furthering their campaign, for example. Or for me, it was, you know, oh, I've been doing this marketing field, maybe I want to get into something more creative, maybe I want to go this route. Whatever you've been kind of putting off, or just thinking, oh, you know, I would switch into this field, like if the time was right or whatever, maybe now's the time to do it. Maybe now is the universe telling you, okay, you were going down this path and this is not the right path for you for whatever reason. It was time to get off that path and to do something else. So yeah, maybe turn it into a positive, use it as an opportunity to maybe switch into another line of work that you've always wanted to do. Or it doesn't have to be some big revelation. It could just be getting back into what you were doing in the same field. So, you know, maybe it's just writing down on a piece of paper. What I did was I wrote down my target companies, like I'd love to work for this type of company, and I wrote down like my dream companies. And then I also wrote down 4 different titles. So in my field, it could have been a marketing manager, an influencer, something, like, you know, just all of the different job titles that are in your area, in your field. And then go on LinkedIn, go on Glassdoor, go on the Muse, go on LinkedIn, Indeed, and search for those titles, and you can save them and apply to them. Just basically get organized with what you want, and just like the good places to find jobs and all of that. For me, the main source of job searching was LinkedIn, because I just feel like LinkedIn is a one-stop shop. I got a lot of interviews these past couple of weeks through LinkedIn, because LinkedIn is kind of a one-stop shop. You have the jobs, you have people who work for these companies that you could then target to reach out to, guess their email address, send them a LinkedIn in-mail message. For me, I actually did a free month trial of LinkedIn Premium, which helps me get more insight into the companies. I think it actually makes you like a preferred applicant, so you show up more at the top of the list, and I really think that that helps my application stand out. I think regular LinkedIn, if you've already done the trial, it might be, you might have to pay for it. Yeah, you definitely do have to pay for it per month. But if you've never done it before, just do the trial, and like the free trial, I think you get a month, and it will really help. Okay, the next thing that I did was I kept an Excel sheet of all of the jobs that I applied to. I named it Jobs I've Applied To. And the different columns that I had were the name of the company, the title, a person at that company that I would connect with. So I would search. A lot of times in the actual job description, it'll say reports into such and such title. Search for that, like if it says like Senior Director of Marketing. Search for Senior Director of Marketing at X company and reach out to that person. So I would write that person's name. I would write their email that I guessed. So you can search on Google, like type in like the name of the company, email format, and I mean, you can just guess their email address. If it bounces back, it bounces back. But hey, if you reach out to them directly, it can really set you apart and make a huge difference. And you never know that they could respond. If you make your message tailored specifically to that job, that position, that company, just really make it specific to why you're interested in that company, why the role really excites you, then that will really stand out and it will really help you out. Also, you can call them in some cases. If it was a job that I really wanted, I would call them. If they weren't there, I left a voicemail. I would call back, because you have no idea how many people don't do these things. So if you're the one that does it, you'll stand out. And that I actually got some responses, and that worked for me. So definitely try that. And then I would keep like a list or notes of, okay, called, didn't answer on this date, and so that I would know to go back. And I kind of made a list, a goal for myself, like, okay, I'm going to apply for, you know, 5 to 15 plus jobs a day. I'm going to call 3 people, and I'm going to email 3 people. So yeah, I mean, just whatever I guess makes sense. Some days I only applied for 3 jobs a day. Some days I applied for 10 or 20 jobs a day. It really just depends. And once you start to get contacted by these companies and get first and second rounds of interviews, your time will be more taken up by that. But when you're first getting started, just apply to a lot of jobs. The next step once you've been laid off is to not sway from your normal routine. So it's really tempting to wake up in the morning and be like, what is this? And just want to stay in bed all day, and it's really easy to just get into that funk. But if you are someone who eats healthy, keep eating healthy. If you're someone who works out 3 times a week, keep working out 3 times a week. Right now with the virus, obviously do at-home workouts, but you know what I mean. It will help you feel more normal. It'll help you ease your mind a little bit, because you don't want to feel like, oh, I'm laid off from my job and now I feel sick because I'm eating all this crappy food, and now I feel lazy because I'm also not working out. Like things like that are things that you can control. So whatever your normal routine is, just stick to that, and that's going to help you feel more human and more normal. For me, if you guys follow me, I know I do my shoot Saturdays, so every Saturday morning I go out and I take my Instagram photos. Well, before the virus got bad, I kept doing that. And you know, if you have something that you do every week, keep doing it. Don't feel like you have to stop, especially if it's a free activity like taking photos. You can totally keep doing that. Now, shopping, on the other hand, that I had to stop, and that was really difficult. And you are going to have to pull back for, you know, a little bit, but you know, just find a healthy balance. The next thing that I found really helpful is writing down the things that you are thankful for. So this helps you focus less on the negative and more on the positive things that you still do have going in your life. So it's easy to be like, oh my god, I don't have a job, I don't have health insurance, and go down a whole spiral. And trust me, I did do that. But once I started writing down the things that I do have and the things that I am thankful for and really trying to focus on that, it really helped just me have a positive mindset and to keep going with the whole process. So I would write down like, I'm thankful that I have my health. I'm thankful that I have an apartment that I can afford and a roof over my head. I have great friends, a great family, a great boyfriend. You know, just write things that, even the simplest things that you're grateful for, and actually doing the physical act of writing them down. Somehow it just helps a little bit more in your mind, and it really can make a big impact and a big difference. All right, the next thing that helps, and this isn't my favorite one, but it's a necessary one, and it's to not be so picky and to keep yourself open to everything. So, you know, when you're normally looking for a job, i.e. when you already have a job, you can be a little bit more picky and say, oh no, I only want this or I only want that. When you're out of a job, and if you're on a tight time limit in terms of how long you can afford to stay in your apartment, etc., you have to be a little bit less picky. And for me, in some cases, I was applying to jobs that were levels below what I have been at. There were some times when I would apply to jobs that were in a field that I just really did not want to do. But the thing is that you kind of just, you can't be picky. And especially, you know, like I said, again, with the virus and everything going on, especially now, you know, unfortunately, you kind of just have to, if you're given something and it's decently good, I would snatch that up. For me, before the virus, I was considering also taking a part-time job, doing temp roles. I even considered like waiting tables down the street. I mean, I even considered like going back to Glossier and doing retail. Like, it's just whatever you have to do, you have to do. And just remind yourself that it's not forever. It's only temporary, but you know, sometimes just this is what happens. It's life. We got to do what we got to do. And eventually all of the chips will fall into place. Just, you know, hang in there. The next step, and this is such a big important one, is to not be afraid to ask for help. It can be really hard to ask for help in a lot of different categories, and you will be shocked at how much your friends and your family and the people that you know and that you work with and that are in your life want to help you during this time. I was completely blown away by how helpful my friends and family were during this crazy time. People just went above and beyond to try to, you know, connect me with people or find jobs, and I just like, I don't know, it's like, it's very heartwarming to think about. But it's incredibly helpful when you are in this time of need and in this place in your life. So don't be afraid to reach out to people. Don't be afraid to ask for help, because chances are the people that know you and that love you want nothing more than to help you in any way that they can. Even strangers that have never met you before. I can't even believe how many of you guys have reached out to me, offered to help me out, or like sent me links to jobs, or offered to connect me with people. And I think that just goes to show like what a great community this is and how great you guys are. But yeah, I think just in general, you will be surprised by how helpful the people in your life will be. And so yeah, so just don't be afraid to ask for help when you need it. The next step is to network, network, network. If I haven't already mentioned this before in the other steps slightly, I think that this needs its own category. For me, I don't love networking. I don't even love the idea of it because, like, I don't know, it sounds like you're connecting with people solely for the purpose of getting something out of them. But know that this is a normal part of job searching. This is a normal thing that you have to do, and just reach out to everyone that you know. Tell everyone that you know that you're looking for a job. Put it on your LinkedIn, you know, in a way that sounds professional, that you're looking. Turn your LinkedIn onto searching so that recruiters will reach out to you. Actually go back into LinkedIn and respond to those recruiters that you ignored before. And I mean, the networking, I think, goes without saying. A lot of, like, any time that I've ever found a job, it's been through networking. That really just like pushes you through. I heard a really crazy statistic that, like, I mean, I don't want to say the percentage because it's probably wrong, but a large percentage of jobs never even go up on job sites or never even go up online and are just filled based off of word of mouth, or, I mean, obviously like internally hiring, but then just like people networking and connecting. So definitely networking is a huge part of it. You can't just apply for jobs online and be like, oh, okay, that's it. You really have to reach out, and it can be very hard, but you have to be aggressive. And that's the biggest thing for me because I'm not a crazy aggressive person, but you kind of just, it's like a do or die. You just have to do it. And then the very last step is that just knowing and reminding yourself that it is completely normal to feel discouraged. It can be a very discouraging time, especially when you start to get in emails from a lot of companies saying that the position has been filled, or that they weren't, or that they for some reason think that you aren't right for the role even though they haven't even spoken to you yet, and just every other reason in the book. And I think especially right now with the virus and everything happening, it's even more likely to feel discouraged because a lot of companies are kind of slowing down. But I think, you know, even just in my case, it is an example, having found a job in this crazy world right now, that there are companies that are hiring, there are opportunities out there, and you can find an opportunity. And just keep pushing. You're gonna have to push really hard, but there are opportunities. You will find something, and just take into consideration all of the steps that I talked about before, and know that it's okay to have those tough days. Maybe for a couple hours all you want to do is lay down and watch Netflix, and that's fine. You can allow yourself and your brain to just reset and calm down and then get back to work. Yeah, so just allow yourself that time, but know that it's all going to be okay in the end. And I also really thank you guys for following along in this journey with me. I know that a couple weeks ago when I first posted this video, I was in a very, like, oh my goodness, just like very scared place, but now I feel a lot better, and I'm excited to continue on with really positive content on here. So with that, we've come to the end of the video. I really hope that you guys enjoyed and that you found some helpful information here. If you haven't already and, you know, this is your first time watching, definitely please subscribe. I would really love to have you as a part of the community. Yeah, like the bell, leave a comment. I try to respond to pretty much all of the comments, so yeah, I'd love to have a conversation about this, especially if you have any tips as well, because I'm sure that there are things that I left out. Also, I have an Instagram account called The Fashion Squirrel, and I post daily outfit inspiration on there, and I kind of like keep up with everything on more of a daily basis, so I'd love to connect there as well. Also, I now have a TikTok. I'm still an embarrassed millennial being like, I have a TikTok. But I actually think that TikTok is really fun, and I know that it's like blowing up right now with everyone being home, and it's definitely a source of entertainment. So if you want to laugh at me, go check out my TikTok. And that is it. Thank you guys again, and I will see you next time. All right, bye.